Then let's just talk directly about this experience of going towards your edges or consent. And there's a lot of people that, as they move towards any tantric workshop, especially a relational or a sexuality workshop, there's a lot of fear that comes up for people. So what's your perspective on that?
Yeah. So the one in most of the tantra workshops that I've participated in, not that I've led, but participated in, I often see people put past their edges and trying to meet the expectations of either the teacher or their partner. And that's one of the reasons that the first couple of days in this workshop, we focus on creating a safe container where you can go up to your edge to find that place where your edge is and to find where your no and your yes is so important. And because you can't really have a authentic yes until you have an authentic no. And it's crucial in these practices not to leave any part of yourself behind. And that is part of the practice, is knowing where that edge is and being able to say, okay, this is enough for right now.
Yeah. And that is really important, because as soon as you step over one little aspect of yourself, you're no longer in alignment. And there's so much of that is unconscious. You know, it's either part of our identity, like if we want to be a good girl or a good boy, like that, even just that belief, or that I have to give more than I have to give. Like, we're constantly stepping over ourselves. So these practices show us in our bodies what we can't see and how we do that. And when you get an insight into that in the body, it's so powerful. Like, it's just like, oh my God, I do this all the time. And then you get a felt sense of what that feels like to step over yourself. So then in everyday life, you can start to, like, oh, here I am doing it again. Like, that's what I love about these practices, is even though they're relational and they're looking at partnered practice, they give you insight into what you do in the world.
It's so important to have that sense of that felt sense of when you step past something, and to anchor that knowledge of what that sensation is like in the body. And so that when it rises again, it's like a bell goes off.
Yes.
And then you can shoot. Okay, something's going on here. Do I want to continue like I have done in the past? Or do I want to bring more awareness and consciousness and maybe set a little boundary here?
Or, you know, another thing that I really love playing with here is that little bell goes off, you realize that you're in some old pattern or some old conditioning, and then you just get to hang in it. You just get to hang in it and get more information and feel what that feels like in your body, and then you start to be able to recognize it more in your life, but you also start to see, okay, if I don't do that and I don't know what I want to do, what happens if I hang here and wait until that actually reveals itself? And then that in itself, that's another doorway and another whole universe that opens up there. So that kind of thing about, at first it looks like consent, and then it looks like alignment, and then it looks like there's an ever deepening experience of alignment and what that means. But consent, I think, is kind of a more gross level that we need to attend to.